guys, welcome back to the Speaking Ill podcast. This is going to be episode 4, and I'll be your host, Brian King. All right, guys, so we had a break, right? I mean, I was sick for a good week and a half with all kinds of stomach issues, and like it wasn't even the old sick, like CF sick, you know? Like nowadays, post Trikafta, I don't even get like CF sick anymore. Like now it's the normal people shit that sucks. Like, like I have a lot of nasal congestion and drainage and just feel tired all the time. And like it sucks because when I was CF sick, I felt so miserable that everything just sucked, like everything hurt. And now when I'm like sick, it's almost like I still have like a normal headspace, or like I don't know, it just like it doesn't shut me down all the way. And so it's just enough to where it's super annoying to be sick because I'm like, man, what a waste of time. But I'm not like just completely miserable, like I need to go to the hospital. So it's just so interesting these days. But anyway, I was sick for a good week and a half, and it's funny in our household because it's usually me that gets sick first, and normally it's because we'll go out of town to my family's house and we'll see like my little nieces and nephews, or we'll go to their soccer games and whatnot, and they're always getting sick, right? Little kids. And so I'll get sick, and then Marina will not get sick. So Marina's my wife, so she won't get sick. She'll, oh man, this is great. You know, I'll be sick for a week or so, whatever. And usually like the next week, she gets the exact same thing as I'm getting better. So that's kind of what happened. And then we had Thanksgiving. So hope everyone's Thanksgiving was good this year. Ours was very different. So my grandpa passed away this year, kind of unexpectedly. It was very, very fast. And so this is the first year of the holidays without him. And like in my family, you know, my grandma and grandpa have always been like the anchors of the family, right? Like we all like flock to their house for the holidays, and like they're always just there, you know. And my family's really small. It's like 12 to 14 people kind of total usually. So I've always wished I had a big family, but I don't. But we're all super close, I think, because we have such a small family. So this year was the first year that my grandpa was not there. So that was really kind of weird. And then a few people couldn't make it because they were kind of visiting their like in-laws and whatnot for that holiday this year. So anyway, it was just a weird Thanksgiving for us. But my mom came up. My mom was in the Florida area, so she came up, and we had a really good time with her. So we like to go gambling. We go play the slot machines. My aunt, and my mom, and now Marina. But that was kind of like my aunt's, like that's her hobby. Like when I say gamble, guys, let's set this clear, okay? I do not mean we go and like try to win mortgage payments or house, like car payments or anything like that at all. Literally, my aunt goes with her friends and they just go to have fun. And so they will bet like, you know, 40-cent bets, the lowest bet you can bet on the slot machines, 40 cents, 50 cents, sometimes it's 60 or 80 cents, but that's kind of like as high as they go. And, you know, if we walk out like $50 ahead from when we went in that night, wonderful time. We usually, you know, my aunt and I, this is kind of how we bonded over the years, is we would both bring $50 or maybe $100, okay? And we'd go to play the slot machines, and we just sit there next to each other and we talk, and we hit the little slots, and it's fun to watch her. She gets very excited, and so she's all watching the machines, all the animations, and she gets real into it, and like, so I'm her biggest cheerleader. You know, she starts winning, like, she'll start winning like $20, and I'm like, wow! I'll like freak out, and everyone comes and stands around and thinks she won something big, but she didn't. But anyway, we just have fun. We just talk, we catch up, we share stories. And most of the time we end up losing, you know, $50, maybe $100. Sometimes we walk out $50 ahead. Sometimes we walk out $100 ahead. And sometimes we get really lucky. And she walked out this year. She won a $700. It was insane. Like a $700 spin on 70 cents. So that's really, really cool. But if you think about it, when it comes to those type of things, like, you know, if you're going to go and try to win money, like win a house payment or a car payment, that's when you're really going to kind of get into some trouble, right? So where it gets really dangerous. The way Marina and I will do it is we'll say, okay, how much does it cost to have a night out together. Usually dinner for two is like 50 or so bucks. It depends on where you go. And then you have the movies, which, gosh, these days is another 30, 40, 50 bucks. So usually about $100 for two people. So that's kind of our thinking there. But anyway, guys, that's what we did this year. My mom came, and it was a lot of fun. My mom's the luckiest person I've ever met in my life. Like, it is insane. I used to get so mad as a kid watching her because she would, I know I'm going off the rails here. I'm not even talking about CF right now, but my mom was so lucky. And as a kid, she was so, when I was a kid, she was so optimistic. And I would just I would be amazed and frustrated at the same time. Because I couldn't understand how she would make things happen for her. It was insane. Things would just always seem to work out in her favor. So anyway, I'm hoping as an adult I will get some of that luck. But my mom, guys, this is how crazy this Thanksgiving was. She came up without my stepdad. She's by herself. And we went to the casino. Like I said, that's kind of our little bonding thing. And the first night, my aunt was actually the one that won this $800 or $756, something like that, or about $800 on this 80-cent bet or 70-cent bet on this slot machine. Okay, great. We were hooting and hollering. We were so excited. Okay, the next night, like I said, we didn't have the normal family all come this year. And we're kind of down about my grandpa and whatnot. And we're sitting there man, what do we do? And oh my gosh, should we go again? And so we went again to the casino. And we don't normally go back to back like that. It's like a one and done type thing. We went again. And, when we win a lot of money like that, we kind of make up for anyone's losses. So I think I was down $50. I think Marina was down another $50 or $80. My aunt paid us both our losses. So we didn't actually lose any money. And my mom played the exact same machine, and she hit it was again 70 cents, guys. Oh no. Okay, this is how crazy this was. Okay, my mom, we were at the slot machine. Okay, guys, so let me paint a picture for you. There's 4 machines in a row. Marina, my wife, was on the far left. My mom was next to her, and there's this little, kind of younger gal next to my mom. Brian, there's one more. There's 4. Why don't you sit there? I'm like, nah, I've lost enough money. I was down $40. I was like, nah. I'm going to stand back and watch you guys. Well, of course, Marina's machine starts hitting. My mom starts winning a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to kind of hang out for a little bit. And this one girl had put so much money, the younger girl next to my mom had put $300 in her slot machine, and it did not hit at all. I did not give her any money back. And I was feeling so bad for her. I'm like, okay, if she gets up, I'm going to sit down, right? It's bound to hit. I'm going to sit down. And guys, it turned out she didn't get up. She actually started winning a little bit. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. I'll sit in the 4th seat. When you're sitting there watching people win, it is so hard to just not want to sit down and play, right? So anyway, I sat down, and guys, this is let me tell you how lucky my mother is. This is insane. Okay, again, we are betting the minimum bet. Okay, we're talking about 70-cent bet. Okay, my mom, it is late. I'm talking about late. It was 2 in the morning. 3 in the morning, I think. 3 in the morning. So she's sitting there hitting this 70 cents, right? Over and over and over. My mom is one that's known, if she sits down too long, she falls asleep. All right, me and this little girl next to her are kind of laughing because we're watching my mom, and my mom is dozing off, right? She's doing the Dr. Dre, head bob, falling asleep. I'm like, Mom, I've never seen anyone fall asleep while they're winning money. And she's kind of giggling, kind of dozing off. Guys, all of a sudden her machine started going crazy. And I'm like, oh, Mom, I think you won. I look over. My mom had fallen asleep, and she hit the max bet, which is $8.80 per spin. She hit the max bet, guys, and hit a jackpot on this machine. This machine paid her $2,600 by the end of it's all its animations. This girl next to me was spending so much money and not getting anything back, and she's watching my mother, this middle-aged lady, fall asleep at the machine and accidentally hit max bet and hit the jackpot. Are you kidding me? It was insane. Anyway, it was a Thanksgiving to remember. So that's how our holiday went. Kind of down in the dumps about things, but exciting events happened. And I'm not really. I know a lot of people like Thanksgiving for the food. I'm not a big Thanksgiving food person. I like big hearty meals. I love steak. I love burgers. I love like mashed potatoes, and we have some mashed potatoes. But normally, we have the turkey, we have the ham, we have the little, like, I don't know what you call those, like the little servings at the table, like just like ham slices, turkey slices. Like, no, I want big, dense meat and potatoes and pastas and things like that. So I'm not a big Thanksgiving food guy. But anyway, guys, that was how our holiday went. One to remember for sure. So my mom's going to come back for Christmas. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure we'll get bored enough and we'll be so excited that she won all that money last time that we'll probably go again. It was so crazy. We were so excited. But anyway, that is how it went, guys. And so then also, which I'm going to do next episode, I'm going to talk more about this. I mentioned maybe to you guys before that I was trying a different enzyme brand, okay? So I've been on Old Trace enzymes, digestive enzymes, as a kid. And yeah, I think in my early teen years, I switched to Creon, and I've been on that ever since. I really am very lucky. I really have not had many digestive issues growing up, besides obviously like needing digestive enzymes. But like I have not had a lot of the bloating or like the constipation or like DIOS or whatever that is. I've been lucky with that. I have not with CF. I have not had a lot of GI issues, so that's really been great. But as I've been eating more and more food lately, I feel like I am really getting a lot of like acid reflux and a lot of bloating. And some people on Instagram had responded to some stories of mine and said, "Hey, have you tried Pertsy?" So Pertsy's a digestive enzyme brand, and it has sodium bicarbonate in it. Okay, so that's supposed to help with heartburn, acid reflux, etc. So I said no. So we are in the process of trying to kind of get me on that to try it out. All right. And my insurance is being stubborn, and they want me to try different brands before they were willing to pay for Pertsy. So we're kind of jumping through those hurdles or hoops right now. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But anyway, another thing I was going to talk about is the format of these episodes. So I know the first episode was like an intro, right? It's only 6 minutes. And the second and third episode are both around 40 minutes long. So remember, guys, my email for this podcast is speakingillpodcast@gmail.com. So if you guys don't mind, chime in, send me an email what you guys think or what you guys like. My thing is that might be a little too long, and I know both of those episodes I went really in depth with explaining things. One was the Vertex Trikafta copay assistance changes, and the other was how to gain weight on CF. And when I explain things to you guys, I want to be super, super thorough. Like, I would love for you guys to like have a question and go to one specific episode and learn all about it instead of having to like jumping around and put pieces together kind of thing. So that's why I'm so thorough, and I tend to like go really in depth with things. But anyway, I'm like, well, is that too long? And because I wanted to originally do like a main topic, and then maybe questions and answers from you guys. I have a lot of questions you guys have submitted. And I kind of was going through these questions, and I realized like a lot of them I can go pretty in depth in. So that wouldn't really provide a lot of time for like more questions after the topic. So I think I'm going to try to do, one big topic each episode and then go in depth with it. And then I will kind of end it there. And then each question I feel like can be a lengthy answer. I'll make its own episode. That way, maybe the episodes will be a little bit shorter, but that way also like I'm hoping the title of the episodes will kind of explain what's happening in the episode and not too much stuff is covered otherwise. So that way, if you guys don't want to listen to an episode that has to do with, ABC, that means you're not necessarily going to miss a lot of other stuff that I would normally cover in questions and answers. But if I start getting a lot of questions from you guys, then I obviously want to cover those, and I probably will start answering questions throughout episodes later on. But Anyway, guys, so that's it for that. So let's go ahead and get into this main one I've been promising you guys I'm going to do, which is someone that had asked me. Another thing, I don't know if you guys want me to share your names on here when you ask me these questions, but someone had asked me about Trikafta, and they said, hey, I'm on Trikafta. Why am I gaining so much weight? Okay. And this is the big one with Trikafta in general. It's so funny because we as CFers have been told all of our lives to eat all we can. Like we cannot gain weight. It is almost impossible. So eat all you can, just stuff your face, and then Trikafta comes out, and all of a sudden we're now gaining a lot of weight to the point where there are clinics that are now getting like the CFers involved with dietitians and like diets. Okay, that's how crazy this all is. So let me explain what's happening for those of you that don't understand what's happening. Like, why is Trikafta making you gain weight? So first and foremost, guys, this kind of goes back a little bit from the last weight gain episode. So I'm going to refer to things that we went over in that episode. So if you have not listened to it, I'd highly recommend it because you're going to be able to like follow along with this way, 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 way easier. But anyway, there is no magic pill. There's no magic powder. There's no magic shot. Literally, guys, there's nothing magical out there that can make you just start putting on weight. Okay. I know that can be very hard to hear because we want to think, oh, this one pill or this one powder that I'm putting in the shake or, whatever is going to help me gain a lot of weight or is making me gain a lot of weight, whatever your goal may be. But that's simply not true. And let me explain why. Your body is made up of substance, right? We put nutrients in our body, and that nutrients will feed our body to do its mandatory tasks, which is like digestion and, breathing and energy levels and hormone regulation, all kinds of stuff that we need to do to survive. Okay. Now, the rest of that food that we don't actually need for those things get allocated for other resources, such as like muscles, okay, or fat. So that's what's happening. Okay, think about a clay sculpture, and you have this. I think I went over this in that last episode. You have this sculpture, and you make a sculpture of Michelangelo. And I said, okay, that's great, but now I want you to make it 2 times bigger. Okay, and what are you going to do? You're immediately going to say, well, I need more clay, right? Like you need to put more clay on this sculpture, and then you'll go about sculpting it again and like, making this face and body, etc. So that's the same thing with our bodies, okay? You need more clay or AKA more food in order to put weight on you, in order to make your frame grow. And your frame can grow by growing muscle, and it can grow by gaining fat. So, but the point is, you need to intake more food. Your body can't grow out of thin air. And even when it comes to like bloating or, water retention, right? Like that's from water. That is still putting things in your body, which is making it expand. So when it comes to Trikafta, that pill is not making you gain weight. It is not the pill. I am sorry to tell you, but the pill is not making you gain weight, guys. Now, the pill is making it easier for you to gain weight. That is true. It is allowing your body to work better and therefore gain more weight. You might be saying, well, whoa, what does that mean? How does it do that? So if you refer back to that last episode, I was talking about how to gain weight with CF or weight management with CF. I forgot exactly the title, but it's episode 2. So we talked about in there, you have this TDEE number, which is basically the number of calories your body burns in a day. And that takes into account your BMR, which is like your resting number that your body burns, just you doing nothing all day. And then it also takes into your lifestyle. And us CF patients have a specific TDEE number because we also have pancreatic insufficiency and we have our lung function, okay? Our body has to work harder to fight off infection, right? CF bodies. And it also has to fight harder to compensate for our breathing, for our lung function scarring, or our lung scarring, right? Which is decreasing our lung function. So the body has to fight harder for those things, aka fighting harder means burning more calories. So our TDEE before Trikafta was very high. Okay, that meant like we could, for example, example here, we could eat 4,000 calories and not gain any weight because our body was fighting that hard in order to digest food, in order to compensate for our breathing, in order to fight off infection, all these things, okay? On top of all that, we also have our pancreatic insufficiency, which makes us to where we don't digest our food that well, right? We need digestive enzymes. So before Trikafta, we could eat a shit ton of food and barely put on any weight. It was so hard. It was like literally a second job. Okay. Trikafta comes out and it basically corrects, right, the gene. That's the goal, is it corrects the defects of the gene in the CF body. And now we can breathe better. Our digestion is more efficient. I think that's improved. We don't really produce a lot of mucus anymore, some more than others. But for example, with me, I really don't produce any mucus at all. I used to cough up solo cups, like party cups, red solo cups of mucus all day long, like all day long. Every 30 seconds, I was clearing my throat. And so now our bodies have improved so much that TDEE number is much, much lower. So for example, let's just say that number is now lowered to, let's just say 2,000 or 3,000. Let's just say 3,000. So that number is now lowered to 3,000. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means if you're eating 4,000 calories like you were before, but your TDE number is only 3,000, which means that's the number of calories you need per day to maintain your weight. With your lifestyle, with your CF body, that is the number of calories you need to maintain your current weight. Well, if you're eating 4,000 calories, you're going to put on weight. Sure, some of it may be muscle, and a lot of it, the remainder will be fat, but you're going to put on weight, guys. And that is why we are now putting on so much weight post-Trikafta, because we are eating like we were taught to eat all these years. We're eating like we were supposed to eat all these years, but we now have, I'm not going to say normal, but we have much more healthier, improved bodies. And therefore, our bodies don't need as much food as we needed before. So that is why we are gaining weight now that we have Trikafta. And some people say, "Oh, well, no, it's causing me more bloating and things like." Well, sure, okay. Like there can be other instances where you are putting on weight temporarily due to bloating, water retention, hormones, etc. But this weight's not usually ever going to stay long term. It kind of goes in waves. But if you're putting on more weight, it's probably a little bit muscle, probably fat, and therefore you're just simply eating too much. You're eating more than you need to eat. And of course, that's sucky to hear, right? We were told all our lives to stuff our faces. Now we're like, hey, slow down on the stuff in your face. So, of course, that's hard to hear, but that's why now CF patients are going on diets, trying to learn better nutritional management. I think we've built, for example, with me, if I eat a lot of food in a few days, like consistently for a few days, my appetite goes way up. So if you're used to eating a lot of food, you've kind of built your appetite up. So you're going to get hungry because your body expects you to keep eating that much food. So it's kind of a training process for our bodies to kind of like slowly decrease our food intake over time, and our bodies will adapt and get used to that. But that's what happens. That's what's happening, guys. So of course, when it comes to losing weight, we can do several things. I won't go real far into that this time. Make sure you listen to that episode 2 that goes real in depth with it. But we could exercise more. Okay, we're going to burn more calories throughout the day. Literally, I would say try for 30 to 60 minutes per day of cardio. Weight gain is great, but when it comes to our lungs and our heart and losing fat, cardio is going to be the best compared to weight gain, or compared to weight training. But again, we could exercise, so we can increase our exercise to help us lose weight, or we could decrease the amount of food that we consume in a day, or the best thing to do, right, would be to do a combination of those things. That way, if we exercise a little bit, well, we're getting exercise in. We know that's good. It's good for our bodies, our hearts, our minds, our lungs. And then we're burning some calories. But then also, if we decrease our food a little bit, well, now we're not taking in as much food. And so, those combined is going to be the best thing you could do. Otherwise, if you don't do both of them, well, now you need to either keep eating like you normally eat, but you need to exercise way more. Or if you don't want to exercise at all, that's fine too. But now that means that you have to eat way less than you're used to eating. So in order to avoid those extremes, try to do a combination of both, guys. But that's how it works. That is why we're gaining weight with Trikafta. It is very funny for me to read these forums where like people just think this pill is just putting on all this weight. And it's simply not possible. It's just not the way it works. But it also is very hard for us to hear, hey, you're eating too much, right? Even normal people don't like to hear they're eating too much. And now us with CF have to hear that, but we were taught all our lives to eat all we can. So it's very frustrating. But anyway, guys, that is just under 30 minutes of this episode. We are going to end it there. Let me know if you guys like the shorter episode style. Again, like I would prefer even maybe a 20-minute episode, but right under 30 minutes. So that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, I'm planning on talking about the enzyme stuff. I'll update you guys on how it goes. If I notice any changes, I was not even aware that you could really try different enzymes and it would be that much different when it comes to results. Apparently it is. So I'll go way in depth with all that kind of stuff and let you guys know my experience. All right, guys, thank you for listening. If you don't mind, please subscribe on YouTube. If you guys are watching the YouTube version of this, subscribe or follow the podcast if you're listening to the podcast version of this. But again, my name is Brian. I'm the host of Speaking Ill, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Talk to you guys soon.